Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna do a video on owning a German Shepherd. So first of all, this information comes from a German Shepherd owner. As you can see, I have my German Shepherd right here. He's a bit camera shy. He actually hates the camera. So, getting him to perform is not easy. Thank you. I actually don't make him perform. I just videotape whatever he happens to be doing at the time. Because I don't want to make him do something he doesn't want to do. So, anyway, this is Bandit, and he is a German Shepherd. He's ex-military, and he does have his own TikTok account. He has his own TikTok account, which is Life with Bandit on TikTok. I'll put his link to his account in the description below. So, as I was saying, this is a German Shepherd. They come in a lot of different colors, but this particular color is the more or less normal color of a German Shepherd. I had to turn on some extra lights in here. So, owning a German Shepherd isn't bad in any way. Well, I mean, it's not bad to own a German Shepherd. It's not always easy to own a German Shepherd. He can be quite stubborn, and he definitely can cause trouble. But they're very, very smart breeds. They're not a good first-time dog, in my opinion. This is my own opinion. And it's just because of all the requirements. German Shepherds have to have a firm leader, but firm does not mean you have to be aggressive. It is actually just never a bright idea to be aggressive with a dog. So you cannot be aggressive with a German Shepherd. They won't take to that very well. Oh, really? You're gonna turn your butt to the camera? Thank you. So, they respond more to positive rewards, like attention, food, treats, of course. You could play with them, that sort of thing. Give them lots of pets and loves. They do love that. They are suckers for attention. They have a pretty decent lifespan. They can live up to 12 years, although some do live longer and some live shorter. They do have some health concerns, which you definitely want to look into. One of the main things is hip dysplasia, which is right in here, as they get older. So, as I said, they can be very, very stubborn. They're easily trained if you start out when they're puppies. They're very, very intelligent, very, very athletic. That is another thing why it doesn't necessarily make a good first-time dog, especially if your lifestyle is not active. I'm a hiker, as you guys know. I hike. I just moved, so I'm not able to do any hiking just yet, but he does get his exercise by going around the neighborhood a couple of times a day, and then I take him in the backyard as well. So they're great for hikers, runners, bicyclists, that sort of thing. You know, they're active dogs. They do make very good guard dogs. They can be they're normally very wary of strangers. And for this reason, they must, I mean must, be um, be us not associated, but they must be socialized. That's the word I was looking for. They must be socialized early on in life. When they're puppies, they have to be around all kinds of different people. You don't want them to be very friendly, but you don't want them to be aggressive. Trust me, you do not want an aggressive dog, and especially not a German Shepherd. German Shepherds did have their time when they were considered to be bad dogs and highly aggressive and attack people for no apparent reason. My time has kind of passed, but there are people that are still afraid of the German Shepherd breed. There's also a lot of people out there that are afraid of large dogs. That's another thing you want to consider when you get your dog. How big the dog is going to be. German Shepherds are definitely large dogs. Some of them can be medium sized, but majority of them are large. He weighs right around 70 to 90 pounds. He hasn't been to the vet just yet for his yearly checkup, so I'm guessing he's right around 70 to 90 pounds. He could even be pushing 100. He eats twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. I give him dry dog food that is a good brand, and then I give him wet dog food that is of the same brand. And he does well with it. Every now and then he decides he doesn't want his food in the morning, so sometimes he gets fed twice a day, every other day, because he doesn't want to eat his breakfast. Typical kid, right? So, but they are good dogs. They are very good watchdogs. They are aware of everything that is going on around them, even when they're appearing to be asleep or not aware. Good point in cases right now. He's not looking at me. He's not paying attention to what I'm doing. But if you can see, his ears here are up, and he can hear very, very well with those ears. So he knows everything that is going on, actually. And he definitely is ready to intercede or protect if the need arises. He's actually a very friendly German Shepherd. He sees a person while out on his walks or something, and he just wants to go to that person and be petted. As I said, German Shepherds are normally very wary of strangers. And so, they don't normally go up to people, which is why you want to socialize them, because that's very, very important, because if you don't, then they're only going to see the people that live in your house as people that should be in that area, and they can become aggressive, and that's just a very, very bad thing. You just don't want that, trust me. You do not want an aggressive German Shepherd. You also want to socialize them with other animals. Dogs, cats, all kinds of stuff. If you can, as much as you can. Definitely other dogs, because they can be aggressive with other dogs if they're not raised around them, or if they're not socialized with them. Now, when I say socialize, I don't mean have another dog that your dog lives with. I mean getting out into dog parks and letting them meet other friendly dogs. So make sure to do that if you get a German Shepherd. Actually, do it if you get any breed. But with German Shepherds is one of the things you have to do. The particular breed is something that you want to socialize it with. I mean, no, you don't want them to necessarily be best buddies with everybody, but you don't want your sister coming over for a visit and he nails her. Or you don't want the neighbor kid coming over and it gets nailed. You definitely don't want a child getting nailed. So you definitely need to socialize the dog. Again, they do not make good first-time dogs because they can be a handful. He's got to be brushed um, twice a week at least. They're supposed to be brushed at least once a day, but I don't always have time to do it every day. But I do brush him twice a week, and it takes about 10 minutes on each side, on both sides. So that's about 20 minutes of brushing from head to tail. He's actually due for another real good brushing. So, I gotta clip his nails, I gotta brush his teeth, I gotta clean his ears. I mean, it is a whole job. It's not just something that I can go, oh, well, there you go, you're fine and dandy. They get bored easily. And if you don't give them something to do, they can become destructive and start chewing on your furniture or whatever. So they can be, they do get bored very, very easily, and you do need to have stuff for them to do. You need to stimulate them both physically and mentally. He has puzzle toys. I don't know if I can find any because he just has them all over the house. So, but he does have other toys, normal toys, bones and stuffed animals and stuff like that. So another thing that I would recommend is for you to read this book. It is a really good book, and it tells you a lot of information about the German Shepherd. I personally say that it is a good idea to do your homework about the breed anytime you want to get a dog. It doesn't matter if it's a certain breed. You definitely want to do your homework on that breed before you get the animal. You also want to be ready for them before you get them. You want to have your cage. You want to have your bed and your toys and your collar and your leash and all of that stuff. So, they do make very good dogs, and they make very good family dogs. They can be good around little children, but you definitely have to watch them. You don't want to let them be, running around without any supervision. Not that they're dangerous. I mean, any dog can be dangerous, but German Shepherds, they can be, they don't know their own strength. And a little child, a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old, they can easily knock them down. Easily. And they don't necessarily mean to do it. They're just excited and happy and playing, and next thing you know, the kid's on the ground screaming. So, you definitely want to supervise the playtime with the German Shepherd. Any dog, really. It's just not a bright idea to have small children playing unsupervised with another dog, whether it's your dog or not. It's just not a good idea. All kinds of accidents can happen. So, now back to the ownership. You have to be a strong and firm owner. But you cannot mix that with being aggressive. They don't respond to aggression very well. And if you don't do anything, they're gonna see that they're the top dog, the alpha dog, and you definitely don't want that, because now they're not gonna listen to you at all. So, now, my preferences are different than what other people's might be. I do allow my dog on the bed, as you can see. He doesn't necessarily sleep here at night. He has been known to jump up here during the day and kind of nap, but he doesn't really choose to sleep on the bed at night. He chooses to sleep somewhere on the floor at night. That's his prerogative. If he wants to, he can sleep up here, but he usually hardly ever does. They're highly intelligent dogs, and they're highly athletic dogs. They're definitely active dogs. You cannot get them and just be laying around the house all day. That is not going to work for the German Shepherd. They're happiest when they have some sort of job. The other thing is you could leave them outside. I don't recommend that you do. I think it's best to have him inside the house. They are wonderful watchdogs. He sits like this on the bed. Well, that's actually laying. He lays like this on the bed, and when that shade is up, he will be looking out that shade, and anything that comes by, like a bike or a person walking by, he's already starting to, you know, that's his way of sounding the alarm. I'll glance out that way and take a look, and if it's nothing serious, I just tell him, okay, be quiet. They are wonderful, wonderful watchdogs. Now, he, in particular, is ex-military, so he's already had a lot of training. He can do all kinds of crazy stuff that it just will blow your mind. You're just, what? They are good service dogs, especially. They also can make very good therapy dogs. They make good ESAs. You know, they bond with their owner quite well. They're not generally like some other breeds that will pick one person that they like and that's it. They don't like anybody else. They will bond with everybody in your family, especially kids. Boy howdy. So, they are very good dogs to have, but they don't make very good first-time dogs. And they do need, especially exercise. They can live in like a small apartment or in an apartment setting, but now they're going to need more exercise because they can't run around the apartment building, and you don't want them running around your apartment. So they can adapt to that lifestyle, but they definitely need more exercise and more time out. The best thing to do is to have them in a house setting like what I've got here. You want a decent sized yard. I mean, it doesn't have to be huge, but you definitely want it to be able to run around the yard. You definitely are going to need a fence. They are very good at figuring out how to get out of that fence. They're not necessarily in the escape artist category, but they are very, very smart dogs, and they will figure out ways to get out. So you want to be watchful when you put them in the yard. You don't necessarily have to be out there with them, but you definitely want to keep an eye out and kind of go and check. You don't want to leave them out there too long. They can live in cold environments and hot environments. I live in Arizona. We moved from California, the southern part of California. So it gets hot in the summertime in both places, and I always made sure he had fresh water available, whether he was inside or outside, and that'll suffice. In your colder climates, they will be okay because they have a lot of fur. The fur is another thing. They are big shedders. They shed at least twice a year, and they will have fur all over. It's just something that is going to happen. That's another thing to consider. Do you want to be dealing with a heavy shedder? Do you want to be dealing with something that you have to brush out very, very well? Bathing, they don't really need a lot of baths. I mean, they just don't. I mean, now if they're really active and running around and stuff, especially if they're rolling around in dirt and grass and stuff, you probably want to bathe them, once or twice a month. But normally once every 6 months or so is pretty good, as far as bathing them. They don't need to be actually washed. They definitely need to be brushed. They do not like being left alone for long periods of time. So if you are going to be at work or school or just away from the house majority of the time, a German Shepherd is probably not the best breed for you, because they can and do suffer from separation anxiety. And that is a whole new ballgame. They start whining, they start barking, they start being destructive, chewing on all kinds of stuff. So, they're not a dog that can be left for hours and hours and hours and hours, like all day long. I mean, an hour or two, sure. Maybe even a few hours. But they want to be around their family. Um, they were bred for herding, so, but now, of course, they do all kinds of other things, as you guys know. They work with the police, they work with the military, they work with disabled people. You see them a lot with, like, their blind people. So they're definitely a working breed, and they definitely are active, and they need something to do. If they get bored, that can definitely be a bad thing. He is very, very sweet, and I just love him, and he actually chose me, which that is an interesting story. But I mean, I wouldn't change him for anything. I wouldn't sell him for any amount of money. He is a great dog, and he is pretty much the best security system I can get. He's not free, but he's a lot cheaper than some of the other places that offer security services. One of the best things that I love about the German Shepherd breed is everybody knows you do not mess with a German Shepherd. It's like messing with a Doberman or a Rottweiler. They're like, yeah, no. So he deters the bad guy as it already. You know, the alarm company will let you know after the bad guy has gotten into the house. He actually kind of prevents the person from coming in the first place. Most of your robbers and stuff won't come in if there's a big German Shepherd out there. I mean, in the house. They just don't want to come in. I'm not saying he'll stop everybody, but it definitely deters a lot of people. I mean, think about it. You are walking up to go break into a house, and you see him looking out the window. Do you really want to go in that house? I know I don't. So, you know. Now, with his teeth, let me get a view of his teeth here. Or try to. Those have to be brushed. I brush them once a day. So, and they're definitely not teeth you want to tangle with in a bad situation. But they're good dogs. They make good family dogs. And they definitely will take care of you and your family. But again, they are not for beginners. They're not very good beginner dogs, just because you don't know what you're doing. But you definitely want to do your research on the breed, and that's any breed of a dog you're wanting to get, German Shepherd or not. It's just not a bright idea to go and get a dog and not know anything about the breed. I always do my homework on anything that I do, really. But I definitely do my homework on any pet that I decide to get, whether that be a dog or a cat. Unless I'm gonna just go get like a black cat or a tabby cat or something. If I want a certain breed of cat, yeah, I'll do my homework on it. But at any rate, so you want to do your homework. You want to ask your breeder a lot of questions. I don't really suggest to go with a breeder. Not that all breeders are bad, that's not true. There are a lot of good breeders out there that really care about their puppies and their puppies' health and all. But I mean, there's just so many dogs out there in shelters that are unwanted or rescues that are unwanted. So I prefer to look into the rescues and the shelters before going to an actual breeder. And they come in lots of colors. They really do. German Shepherds come in a lot of colors. This particular color is the most popular, but they do come in other colors. They can be all white. They can be all black. They can be, I think it's called a sandy color or a red. It's a reddish color. The reddish that's in him, it can be all that color. So they can be, there's one that's called blue. I don't think it's really a blue color, but, you know, again, so they do come in lots of different colors. This is the most popular seen and the most common that people think of when they think of a German Shepherd. But they do come in lots of different colors. And some of those colors will also come with their own health problems and stuff. So you want to look into that as well. And you want to think, do I have the time to devote to a German Shepherd? Do I want to deal with having to brush him for 20 minutes a day? Do I want to deal with shedding? Do I want to deal with the exercise needs? He definitely needs his exercise. German Shepherds, as I've said, are very active dogs, and they definitely need good, adequate exercise. They're relatively, well, I can't say relatively, they are and they aren't barkers. Some of them can be very, very vocal and be barking and howling and stuff, and that's something you'll have to deal with. My dog here, he doesn't do a lot of barking and howling. He definitely whines if I get ready to leave. I don't leave the house very often, but when I do, he knows and he starts kind of getting upset. That's another thing you have to deal with, because I can't take him everywhere. I just can't. He's not a service dog. He's not an ESA. Even if he was an ESA, I can't take him like everywhere because ESAs are not service animals and they don't have the same rights. That's a whole new topic though. So, and they don't like being left alone for hours and hours and hours and hours. They just don't. They want to be around their family. They want to be around their person. So if you're not going to be home for majority of the day, German Shepherd is probably not the best breed for you. They do make good dogs. They are great dogs, and they are great family dogs, and they're great with guard dog. So, I mean, I'm not saying that they're a bad breed, but if you're not going to be home majority of the day, German Shepherd is probably not the very best breed for you to be picking. There is absolutely nothing wrong with them as far as the breed goes, but I mean, sure, they have their own issues and things just like every other breed. They do have their own personalities. Mine is actually happens to be pretty friendly as long as somebody is here. You come in invited and he's not going to be attacking you. He definitely will come up and smell you and want to be petted, but he won't attack. He actually has a command that I make him attack. Although if somebody came in to do harm when we weren't here, me or my roommate, he'd probably attack on his own. So, but they are good dogs. They are good family dogs, and they are great at being guard dogs. They're very, very loyal to their owner and their families. But they're definitely not for everyone for certain reasons. So you want to do your homework on your German Shepherd breed, and you really want to do your homework on any breed. So, they do make good dogs. They do make very excellent dogs, and I would not trade my buddy here for anything. I just wouldn't. There is nothing you could give me, no amount of money you could give me for my dog. Some people might say I'm crazy, but, you know, that's just how I feel. He's my baby boy, and there's just nothing that can replace him. Sure, I can go get another German Shepherd. Sure, I can go and get even another male German Shepherd and even name it Bandit. But that dog may not have the exact personality of this Bandit. 10 to 1 it won't. Because each dog has their own personalities. So, you know, I'm not trading him for anything. You're not buying him. I'm not selling him for anything. No amount of money could get him from me, and there is no physical item that you could give me for him. Sure, there are a lot of things I would love to have, I want to have, and I would just be ecstatic to have, but it's not worth him. So, he's not for sale, and he's not for trade or barter. And that's the video. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned a bit about a German Shepherd. As I said before several times, you definitely want to do your homework on whatever breed you decide to get, because some breeds are not for some people. You know, I mean, if you're not active, why get an active breed dog? You know, you're not going to be home a lot. You're going to be gone at work or school majority of the day. Well, then you need to get a breed that doesn't mind being home alone. So, but he's a good dog, and I wouldn't trade him for anything, and I just love him. So, that's the video. I will put the link to his TikTok account in the description below, and it's just Life with Bandit, and it's on TikTok. You can just go to TikTok and look up Life with Bandit and look for his pretty face. He does have his picture up. So, that's it for now. Hope you liked the video. Hope I got you guys to think about stuff like German Shepherds or dog breeds. And I hope to see you next time. Gotta fly.